Hello everyone, my name is Muhammad Nasar. I'm a graduate student in Computer Information System at Florida Institute of Technology. And today I am going to give you a presentation about Windows PowerShell. In this presentation, I would focus on three main points: the basic and useful examples of PowerShell commands, the basic and useful example of PowerShell scripts, and the basic and useful examples of PowerShell classes or objects. But before that, let me briefly introduce what PowerShell is. PowerShell is a script programming language which supports command line, script, and class or object working environment. This is useful for automation and system configuration management. Although built by Microsoft, PowerShell can also be run in other operating systems such as Mac and Linux. And if we compare to Command Prompt or CMD, I believe you have already known it. The major difference between them is that CMD commands are accessible in PowerShell, but PowerShell commands are not accessible in CMD. And most importantly, for administrators, that administration and configuration tasks can only be done in PowerShell. This is the user interface of PowerShell 5. As you can see, there are two parts here. The blue one is for interactive command line environment, and the white one is for a scripting environment. Now let's begin with PowerShell command. I am going to show you 5 basic and useful examples here. But before I do that, let me define what is PowerShell command. I can define here that PowerShell command is a basic commands that are already available in PowerShell, so we can use it directly. Okay, the example I am going to show you include get help, get net IP address, test connection, get process, and stop process. Coming to the first command, get help. For beginners, I believe this is the most useful command because it can be used to get help with any other PowerShell commands and concepts. Just simply type get help, command name, and enter, or for more detail, get help, command name minus examples. You will find detailed helpful information about the command you want to know. As you can see here, when I type get help, get net IP address minus examples, the PowerShell shows some examples on how to use this get net IP address command. The second useful PowerShell command is get net IP address. Similar to ipconfig in command prompt or ifconfig in Unix, this command is to get the IP address configuration on our local network interface. Some varieties of using this command are get net IP address, pipeline, format table, or get net IP address minus interface number. We can find this number using the first example. To make it clear, let's try this command directly. get net IP address pipeline format table. Enter. As you can see, I have some local interface here, and now I would like to check with the second example, second comment, net IP address minus interface index. I would check the last interface, which is number 19, and as you can see, this is my detail information of my local interface. I am now using Wi-Fi, and this is my IP address. Okay, the third comment is test connection. Like ping in command prompt and Unix, test connection is used to check network connection by sending internet control message protocol echo request packet to one or more computers. Interestingly, in command prompt, we cannot check more than one destination. In PowerShell, we can check more than one together. For example, I would test my connection to Google, to Florida Institute of Technology website, and to University of Muhammadiyah Malang website. We can do that in one test. Let me demonstrate this for you. Test connection google.com, fit.edu, and umm.ac.id. See what happens after checking the Google connection. This command would check FIT connection and finally OMM connection. So we can use one command one time to check the some destination. Interesting, it. The fourth command is get process. This is like process in taskbar Windows or PS in Unix. Without any additional parameter, this get process cmd-let can be used to get the processes information in our local or remote computers. If we want to limit only for some specific process, we can add parameters like on the second example, get process, Skype app, Explorer. This is the application that are running in my computer now. This will only show information related to Skype and Explorer application. Let's have a look this next demonstration. Get process, enter. This is all of the process I have now in my computer, and to show only certain process, just type get process, the application name, because I know that I'm running Skype and Windows File Explorer now. Okay, get process, Skype app, Explorer, enter. So as you can see, my Explorer is running in 9356 ID, and my Skype application is running in ID 9856. I will use this ID for the next comment. The last command I want to show you is stop process. Similarly, in taskbar Windows, we have end task, and in Unix, we have kill command. This command stop one or more running processes. We can use this command by typing stop process minus name application name, or stop process application ID that was shown in the get process command previously. Okay, see again my demo. Stop process. I can type the application name with the name and then Explorer. See here, my Explorer is still running, and what happened after entering this command? My Explorer disappears. Okay, now I would try the second example. Stop process ID. So now I have Skype here with the ID is 9856, and my Skype is still running now, and I would stop the process with this command. Okay, my Skype disappear. Now coming to the second point, PowerShell scripts. PowerShell script is a series of commands or operations within a file that is capable of being executed without being compiled. Unlike command, a script is created manually based on our purpose. The basic construction of a script is function, script name, in brackets, commands and or operation. And here I am going to show you 4 basic and useful examples of PowerShell script I've made. Test connection script, backup file with current date folder name script, check whether script, and who is their script. Let's start with a test connection script. If you can see this screenshot, we made a function here called check connection. We put read host here in a variable called param1 for prompting user to enter an IP address or hostname. After that, it executes test connection cmdlet with destination host as defined in variable param1. In parallel, we use 2 pipeline commands here to manage the output. First is using select, second is format table, in which the output must consist of address, status, and round trip time. As you can see, the result of executing this script when I checked the connection to Google is shown on the command line window. That is a very useful example if you want to see how a basic script in PowerShell is constructed. Secondly, I'm gonna show you my backup file script. This script is particularly important for IT administrators who work on Windows environment. As I did before, I need to type function keyword and then script name or function name, and then back up my file. Then I define my source folder in a variable called source and destination folder named destination. What makes this script special is that it can automatically name destination folder by current date. Here I use getDate to generate current date and getRandom to generate random code following the date. After that, I use new item cmdlet to create the folder requested. And I use copy item to copy the source to the destination. After the script is complete, I execute it by calling the script name backup my files. This screenshot shows that this script had copied my file from folder test1 to folder backup. This is the source test1 and this is the destination backup, and this is the result. So each copy has different name. The name is constructed by backup, years minus months minus date minus random code. An excellent feature for administrator, right? Okay, now the third script I want to show you is check weather. We are going to use Yahoo Weather API using Yahoo Query Language. I'm not going to discuss the query language here, but just have a look this query. See, this is the Yahoo Query Language, and we have city name here and state name. Now I put Melbourne, which is my city, and Florida, the state. Let's run this script. Check weather. Okay, this script. Okay, now the script displays code, date, day, high temperature, low temperature, and text message. As you can see, code 30, date 18 April 2017, Tuesday. The high temperature is 82 in Fahrenheit, low temperature is 69 Fahrenheit, and it partly cloudy for today I make this video. The next script is who is there or who is logged in. This is a script for checking users who is currently logged in our Windows computer. Of course, it is very important for most IT administrators. First of all, the get WMI object cmdlet gets instances of Windows Management Instrumentation or WMI classes or information about the available WMI classes. To specify a remote computer, use the computer name parameter. If the list parameter is specified, the cmdlet gets information about the WMI classes that are available in a specified namespace. If the query parameter is specified, the cmdlet runs a WMI query language statement. To filter a specific object, we use select. In this case, we limit the result on username, caption, and manufacturer. Let's see my following demo. Who is there? Okay, this is the script and I'm gonna execute this. Okay, I'm asked to type computer name or IP address because I don't have any other computer network here. So I just type localhost, enter, and it displays username, myself Nasar, caption my computer name, and manufacturer Lenovo, which is my laptop manufacturer. Okay. Now coming to the last point, PowerShell classes or objects. The highest level of PowerShell programming is a class. PowerShell class is a template or blueprint for defining objects, and it should be created manually based on our needs. And basically, every command in PowerShell is made using class and object. Similar to the function structure, a PowerShell class must be constructed with a class keyword, class name, and an opening and closing braces. Inside the braces, we can develop the class with data type, properties, methods, constructors, etc. to present objects. Here, I'm gonna show you 3 basic and useful classes in creating objects. A car basic class, input validation feature in the car class, and klaxon and acceleration method in the car class. First, let's see the basic class of a car. To create a car class, we type class car opening and closing braces. Then we add car's properties such as vehicle identification number or VIN and model, which use string data type, year, which require date time data type, etc. For the number of wheels that uses integer data type here, we set as a static property and define it is equal to 4 because we assume all cars have 4 wheels. After defining the properties needed, we may want to add a method, let's say drive method, which uses mileage property. By this method, we can drive the car and the method will record our mileage. Let's try it directly in my demo. This is the script, and I'm gonna execute this script, and I want to check the properties. Okay, the properties are still empty. Now I want to input the VIN first. My car VIN equal to 1 2 3 4, and my car year 2010, number of door equal 4. What else? Okay, model. Whatever. Now we try our method drive here. let's say I drive in 20 miles. Check. Okay, now my car has VIN 1234, year, sorry, the year is still not changed. I think I need to retype it. Oh, I should follow the following format. Okay, let's say 1/1/2010. Okay, it works now. Number of doors 4, mileage 20, and now I want to drive again for 10 miles, and now my car mileage is 30. Okay, that's correct. Okay, that's how a car class is constructed. I hope you get the idea. Okay, still using the same class. The second object I want to show you is the method of klaxon and acceleration. To do that, we create a method called myKlaxon, which executes beep cancel command. The 500 is the frequency and the 900 is the duration here. The next method we want to add is the accelerate method. When we accelerate, we need to know how fast we are going. So we need to be able to pass the value to the method. The input will be contained in the arg or argument variable. We will then use this value to determine how fast my car will go. What the method is actually doing is starting a relatively low beep and increasing the frequency of the beep in a certain number of times. This is determined by the speed supplied to the argument variable. I think this will be more interesting if we demonstrate directly. Okay, this is the script. This is I want to execute now. Success. We instantiate a equal new object car. Okay, now I want to try my klaxon. My klaxon. Okay, it works. Now I want to accelerate this car. Let's say I drive for 50. Okay. As you can hear, the engine rotation is increasing. Okay, I think you got the idea. I stop until here. The last example of the car class I want to show you is input validation. As usual, the first line defines the class and its name. On the following lines, the class members are specified. As best practice, the type of all members should be defined. Because we are still using PowerShell, some concept of the advantage function can be reused with classes. In this case, the color is validated with the annotation validate set. This will throw an error if we try to assign any different value as listed in the validation set. Let's see my last demo. Okay, as you can see here, the valid color I put is only white, black, red, and yellow. Let's execute this class first, and now we are trying to instantiate this object. Okay, my color red. Okay, now we check my car. Okay, my car VIN is car 0011. The color is red, which is valid. Now let's try the color blue. It should be invalid. Okay, it thrown an error, right? And if we check the property, the color doesn't change. Okay, I think you got the idea for now. And as now I've explained the variety of basic and useful example of PowerShell commands, PowerShell script, and PowerShell classes, you now should be able to distinguish those environment features as well as to begin your own creation in PowerShell. That's all for my presentation. Thank you for listening.